Hey there guys, and welcome to today's video. So I thought today we would just have some fun and just do a little flip through adventure of my journaling Bibles and maybe just do a little storytelling, a few little techniques, and just kind of give you a little sneak peek into maybe some of the Bible journaling pages that you haven't seen videos of. So let's get started. I think it'll be fun. All right, friends, let's have some fun just doing some flip throughs. These are the three main Bibles that I use. I've got my spiral bound illustrated faith ones over here. And so this was actually the first one that I got, and both of these, I covered them in vinyl. Just to kind of protect them. I have a video on that. I'll try to remember to link down in the description just so you guys can see it. And I specifically definitely wanted to start with this one for a couple of reasons. Number one, this was the first kind of big Bible journaling thing that I did. It was the first time I put paint and bunches of stickers, and still just trying to figure out what my style was. But obviously my style has always been colors, and more colors. But I also wanted to start with this particular Bible because of this little orange glow situation, which you can see throughout a lot of this. So I had it in a I guess it was like a bag or something, and I had one of those really small Distress ink cubes, and the lid popped off, and so it spent time snuggling right there. And the reason I point that out is because I think a lot of people would think somehow their Bible was ruined, that life was over, and they had made a huge mistake. And I don't know, I kind of feel like it's just kind of like life. It's still possible to have beautiful things and have a beautiful life, even if there might be like a small little blemish. And so I just thought that was cool. So I kind of just, have left it there. There's nothing I can really do about it. This one is in, let's see. This was talking about following the clouds, how the Israelites followed the clouds. This was one of the first ones I made using my Faith Impressions set for gel press, with the border plate and then the scallop circle being used kind of as the cloud. What's funny is you're going to see in this too, and I think that's one of the reasons I want to show this too, is you're going to see all the mistakes that I've made coming up with ideas for journaling videos and journaling posts on my Instagram and my Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So it's funny that I was actually just doing a live podcast with somebody tonight, and we were discussing just this idea of when you look at something like this, or look at someone's Bible journaling page, that a lot of people are instantly discouraged because of it, because they see only the finished project and they think, oh, that's just one beautiful layer. And I think we get tied up in that, and we don't realize that some of these have 8, 10, 12 plus layers, and it's time, and there's drying times where we have to set it aside and come back to it. And the same kind of goes for our relationship with God. There's layers. There's times where God's going to set us aside and say, hey, go dry for a while. We're not going to add anything else to you. And there are times where he lets us see a lot and sometimes lets us see a little. And I just love how Bible journaling is almost kind of like a metaphor for our relationship with God. So anyway, so this one says, embrace the chaos. Apparently I was going through a little something. I do my best to date them. Like this one's from May 1st, 2019. This is an alcohol ink technique, which I love, with using silver as the pull color. This one was a video, actually not long ago, sometime earlier this month, I think, maybe last month. These were just some practice pages where I was playing with some techniques and some colors. It'll be fun to go back someday and kind of redo those, not redo them, do them to begin with. Here's something else that happens a lot, is my pages get glued together. that happens, or like the edges do. This was one of, did I label? How did I say that? Was this the first one I did in here? Y'all, I don't know because I didn't date this one. Shame on me. But this one is from, is that really December 2015? Have I had this Bible that long? Oh, that makes me wish I would have done one of those really pretty, like book plates, this Bible belongs to, this art, whatever, that kind of thing. So this one says, be okay with the detours. Which, you know, that'll preach. This is one of my favorites. I might say that a lot. And this was one I did using spray inks from, I think, Delusions on my gel press plate. I did this as a live in our Faith Impressions group. And it is in 1 Samuel 17, verse 34, where it says, but David said to Saul, your servant used to keep sheep for his father, and when the lion came, or a bear, and took a lamb from the flock, I went after him and struck him and delivered out of his mouth. And if he rose against me, I caught him by the beard and struck him and killed him. Your servant has struck down both lions and bears, and this uncircumcised Philistine should be like one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God. And and David said, the Lord delivered me from the paws of the lion and from the paw of the bear, and will deliver me from the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said to David, go, and the Lord be with you. And I think it was one of those, I wanted that metaphor of being fierce like a lion and not just standing up to it. That yes, we can make it through these fights, we can make it through these storms, but sometimes it's not about just weathering the storm. Sometimes it's about killing it. Sometimes it's not just surviving the encounter with the lion. Sometimes it's about killing it. And there are things in our life that we need to lay down at God's feet and kill, whether it's a relationship or whether it's a job, or anything like that. And that's kind of where that thought process came from. So this is one I did a really long time ago. This was one, actually I think I did for the Crafters Workshop. But this little brick pattern was my first kind of look into hand carving stamps. So that was super fun. And then it's funny because this is one of my, probably in my first year or so of doing Bible journaling. And then this was my one for my one little word for 2021, and it's more. And it's based off 2 Kings chapter 4 about Elisha and the widow's oil. And I did just kind of a little hidden journaling under here, just about some stuff that was spoken over me at the beginning of this year. And I really like this one because it's very heavy on like a wood texture, and I really liked that. I did this actually as a live in the Faith Impressions group as well. Let's see. Again, playing with some different techniques to show you guys. This one's a bad one. Oh, I remember this now. So I was using this Bible at a international trade show to show about Bible journaling. This was before my Faith Impressions line came out. And so I literally was just sitting there and being like, well, let's test this. Do. And so I have quite a few pages in this Bible that are just random. Just so random. Again, playing with techniques. I need to just go and just have fun and just redo or finish up all of these that are kind of just hanging out there all naked. No words. I love this one. This one says, I am weary. It's in Psalm chapter 6, and it says in 6 verse 6, it starts with, I am weary. And then it goes on in verse 9 to say, the Lord has heard my plea and the Lord accepts my prayer. And this was just a reminder to plan rest, that it's just as important. And that's why I kind of did the little calendar in that one. It's kind of fun. It's kind of memory lane-ish to sit here and kind of go through all of my old ones. So this one is from 7/7/17. So 3.5 years ago. Is that mathing right? No. Yeah, 3.5, almost 4 years ago. This one's actually done with a stencil done by a friend of mine named Rita Barracat. Just love her little face. And I just, I love that one. It's just sweet, and it was kind of just a simple one. Are these stuck together? Oh, snap. What's going on behind that? We're just learning together. I feel like there is a page behind there. It's kind of, oh my. This apparently is a page I haven't seen in a while. I don't know why it's sticking. This might have been one of those times I tried to use Mod Podge instead of matte gel, and it can reactivate. Okay, I'm not gonna try to do that. I'll figure that out later. That scared me. That's funny though. More testing out different things, testing out different techniques. You'll see the finished project for this one in a different file. I love this one. This one makes me happy. This one is one of my printables that's in my Etsy shop. This is a really old one, so February 5th, 2016. I remember doing this one because I was trying to mimic someone's technique, and I used texture paste with a stencil in this one. Again, not really sure what I was going for, but I think it's Distress inks. This was even before Distress oxides existed. And sometimes you just have to go with sweet little hearts. This one's on my channel as a 12-minute devotional. This was my first time really using Distress oxides, and I definitely hadn't figured out the whole how to blend it thing correctly, but it still was cute. Again, testing out techniques. It didn't work so good, so y'all never saw that one. I love this one too. I love anything with like a teal red pop situation. It makes me happy. I love these. I think I did this one for, I might have done this one for a class at some point. And you can see that I'm definitely starting to kind of figure out my style, and that my style is very messy, very layered. There's some more practice for you. This one's actually is a video on my channel, and I just loved this. Number one, it's definitely colors that are out of my typical wheelhouse, and we all know my wheelhouse is bright, anything kind of 80s-ish, and so I wanted to step outside of that and use this kind of other color scheme that's kind of an orange, red, teal kind of thing, and so that was me, I guess, just trying to get myself to do something different. These are pink pages that I never did anything with. Oh, so this one's from January 11th, 2017, and it is also, I think I've said it's one of my favorites many times, but this one I love because this was the first time I kind of really started getting very heavy into the mixed media. This is done with Derwent ink tints blocks, and it was the first time I kind of did a hidden journaling kind of thing, and it's just very messy, very layered, but with pops of bright color. This was an accident, apparently. I did something wrong there, I don't know what, but it didn't work out. So, more testing and realizing what does and does not work, friends. This one's on a video on my channel about carving your own stamps, and then I use them in this page, which I loved. It's in my Prince to Project. I haven't seen that one in forever. This one says, "The Nations Will Come." That's from November 9th, 2020. So that's I'm assuming the background is probably a Distress ink or Distress oxide. Maybe an oxide, just because of the way it's reacting. I think it's fun to show you guys the things that don't work, and the things that you normally wouldn't ever see because it would be hidden somewhere. That is from, if you've watched my videos, my Dollar Tree Bible journaling. This is one of the first ones I did when I was testing out my product line. And I love it because it really is, sometimes we try to make things super difficult, and then I like in this one that literally Jesus is saying, or God is saying, literally, here's your 4 steps. Bring, build, plant, give. That's all you need to know. And I just, you know, sometimes we need simplicity. Again, playing with things and them not working. And I think I like showing this because I think it shows that it's not about doing the perfect Bible journaling, that you're not going to somehow upset God or ruin your Bible or whatever negative emotion the devil tries to put at you whenever you do something quote unquote wrong in your Bible. It's just a mistake. It can be covered up. I could cover that up with white paint, or I could redo it, or just realizing that it's okay to make mistakes in our Bible. This one's really cool. I'm not sure why I haven't done anything with it. I was testing some different techniques. I love this one too. It's kind of a watercolor technique using clear gesso. More playing, trying to figure out techniques to teach. Oh, that one's pretty. Why haven't I done anything with that one? That one's really pretty. Can you see the shimmer on that one? That's an alcohol ink with a Pebeo silver background. Makes for really pretty stuff. Oh, I love this one. This one's on my channel too. It makes me happy because it's kind of that bright color scheme, but not quite. And I also show in this video that this is actually, I lost my J somehow in this stamp set. And so this is actually a question mark that I kind of then extended a little bit. But that is using a stencil. This is one of the first times I tried to get super painty, super artisty, for lack of a better word. But what's hilarious, and I've used this as an example numerous times. So I was making this, it was pretty, it literally has glitter paste and everything. Can you see the glitter paste? Yes, it's gorgeous. I love it. But when I was doing it, I was trying to do some kind of cool hand lettering because that's not really my gig. This is literally from like 2017. And I remember getting it, what I thought was done, and being like, oh my gosh, I love that. And then I realized that I had spelled C wrong. I had spelled it S-A-E. You can still see it just a little bit underneath it. And I remember being so discouraged and so just angry with myself. And God literally kind of dropped it into my heart that it's not that big a deal. It's not irreparable. And I think that was one of the first times where I kind of was able to let go of the fear of messing up, because I always joke that why didn't my pen have spell check? Wouldn't that be awesome? Sorry, taking a drink. And I think that was when I really started to release the fear of fear. This was one of the first lives we did in our Faith Impressions group. I love it. It's using a principle from, I think, Illustrated Faith. Is there one in there? Oh, there is. Oh, I like this one too. It's like a trip down memory lane for me. So this was my... in Zephaniah, where he talks about daughter of Zion, about changing your shame into praise. And so I wanted to kind of document that and just make her a little bit like me with, you know, red lips and pink hair, but I don't have blue eyes. But I kind of wanted her to represent me a little bit. So this one says, the first will be last. This was just a super simple one I did actually as a project for a Bible journaling retreat that happened last year. And then there's these. This one was done actually at a trade show for and in the Crafters Workshop booth. This one actually is one of, I know I've said it's one of my favorites, but there's a reason this one is one of my favorites, because this was what I was working on when Gel Press, I was working on their design team, and they asked if I was, since I was going to be at Creativation, CHA, whatever you want to call it, if I would mind doing some Bible journaling with Gel Press in their booth. And of course, since that's kind of my jam and I've always been a faith-based artist, I was like, sure. And so this is the page that I did as a demo in their booth. And it's almost like this is my audition piece, for lack of a better word, for what you could do in a Bible with Gel Press. And it's kind of the audition piece that earned me the spot to have my own line with Gel Press. And so it has a very special place in my heart. Stronger together. Sometimes it's not about the layers. Sometimes it's just about keeping it simple. Just a really pretty print, some words. I think sometimes we make things harder than they need to be. Again, playing. This one you probably have seen a lot. This is one was in the first promo stuff for my line, but it's definitely one of my favorites because I love kind of the galaxy feel I was able to get in the background. And again, it's the colors that are my wheelhouse, but not necessarily so obnoxiously bright. Not that I have a problem with obnoxiously bright. I mean, hello, look at my hair. So I'm just, apparently I went through a thing where my idea of doing my verse was to put a little cloud around it. So yeah, that happened apparently. I love this one. And then we're coming up to some more, well, that didn't quite work out like I planned. This is, so our pastor has this phrase that I've absolutely loved, and actually he looked like he used it in Easter of last year, but I think he said it before, but I kind of decided to document it this time. It's delay does not mean denial, and it's one of my favorite, kind of one of my favorite phrases that he's ever said, because it really just, it speaks to me. So if you're not familiar with these are ink tint, done with Inktense blocks, and I haven't used them on my channel in a while. I might need to just do that in my next video. But it's just great because they activate like a watercolor, but when they dry, they are permanent like an ink. And so you can add more layers and all that kind of stuff. They're great. I love them. I'll link them down below in case anyone's interested in looking at them. I love that one too. This one was in Alive. If you're not in our Faith Impressions Gel Press Faith Impressions group, I do a live twice a month in there. I did this one on a plane. I remember doing that one, and I don't know. Did I do anything? Oh, I did. There's journaling behind it. But why would I do it where I couldn't open it? Why did I do that? Okay, well, I have no answers for that one. This one again was done actually in a booth at a trade show to show about Bible journaling with stencils, and she's pretty, but I didn't understand how gesso worked and stuff, so it wasn't gessoed, so my Sharpie went all the way through. Do I have a date on this one? I didn't. Always date your stuff, people. Apparently I didn't take my own advice for a very long time because a lot of mine, I noticed in the beginning I did this a lot as well. If I didn't do like the little cloud thingy, I would do this little arrow, which I ain't mad at, but it's kind of funny that I've seen that repeated numerous times. Do I have anything else in this one? Oh yes, this was my one for Father's Day last year. Just talking about you have a father, and I did it with an alcohol ink technique in gold, so it has a really great kind of iridescent shimmer to it. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, that was practicing flowers. I don't know where those ended up. That was practicing something that didn't work out, so we'll just ignore that. Oh, there's something else there. Another practice page. Ooh, this one I got fancy. It's got like some serious like gold leafing kind of thing in it. What does it say? By a single offering. So I guess I was kind of trying to reiterate, think of that idea of like offering gold and silver and that kind of stuff. So, well, there's that one. So this one is similar in that it is a single column. This one I don't think I've used as much. I'm not sure though. So this was actually my most recent YouTube video featuring my new stencils. So you guys have seen that one recently. This one is all about Joseph's coat, and there was a tutorial that someone who used to be on the gel press team did about how to make plaid by just moving strips around and stuff, and so I kind of wanted to reiterate that. This is my one little word for 2018 called whole, and this kind of started my love of those kind of bright, bold colors. But then still being able to kind of do some more muted. This is one of the few times that I've ever done like puffy letters in my Bible. I don't do a whole lot of 3D things because I just think like long term, if I had like 5 million 3D things, how that would make it harder to put things in? Would it make it harder to do other layouts? So I kind of tend to steer clear of that, but apparently I didn't that time. But this was also how the book sat, just like this, in the display case when we launched my line. Did a little neon situation. This is an art foamy stamp from Rita Bearcat as well. Again, testing out stuff that didn't work out. I see something right there. Oh, there it is. So this was the test page. This was the page that everybody saw. That one was a blog post for somebody. Shape the Desert. It's kind of fun to watch myself because I can see things that were done in the beginning and then how I've kind of figured out what my jam is. I actually did this one in my car. It was just stencils and ink and some washi and some stickers. When I travel, I do a series called What Can I Make in My Car? And so that happened to be something that I made in my car. This was from our most recent live in the Faith Impressions group. I was kind of going for that sunrise kind of thing. Again, didn't work out. This was my one little word for 2019. It was path. And what's funny is I ended up not doing a one little word for 2020. So if I'm the one that jinxed 2020, I apologize in advance for that. I think this was a Facebook Live as well, but it's very grungy, very layered, very me. Oh, there's one right there. This one was 6/22/20. This was actually the very first Facebook Live that we did whenever we launched the Gel Press Faith Impressions group. So that's kind of fun to see that was the first one we did. And definitely not in my normal wheelhouse. It's very pastel and that kind of stuff, but you know, that's what it was. The cute little mouse. He's from a recent 12-minute Bible journaling practice. So this was from a video showing how you could draw on your gel press plate with alcohol markers. This was, I didn't prep my page, so now I gotta figure out what to do on that side. But the other side's great. Let's just look at that side. I love that one. Let's see. That one. Love that one. Again, test and fail. What's funny about this one is I'm not 100% sure which side is the original. I think this is the original side. This is the read-through, but they're pretty similar in saturation. If you are in the Bible journaling tips and tricks group, this is the sample page we did after we did kind of a little demo session there last week. It was super fun. This printable is from a company called Keys of the Kingdom. Her name is Sarah. She is super sweet. This is, again, I think I used Mod Podge. This is something I think a lot of people don't do in Bible journaling, and I think it's kind of cool, and maybe something that I would hope more people do. This was actually rather than being like necessarily documenting the scripture, I wanted to document an event and things that had happened in that event. So this is actually from when I ran the Bass Pro Conservation Marathon back in November of 2018. Yes, it's 26.2 miles. But I wanted to tell the story in the songs that got me through the race. The ones that, when I was topping the hill, when I was tired, what are those songs that really spoke to me and got me through it? And they were Something in the Water by Carrie Underwood, Counting Every Blessing by the Wren Collective, and Comeback Song by Micah Tyler. So those were ones that just kind of meant a lot to me, and I wanted to document those in my Bible. I love this one. This one's just playing kind of with blending and then just having some fun with some stickers. I mean, why you gotta make things so complicated? Again, playing with some textures and some ideas. This one's actually really cool. I might have to come back and do that one. Oh, so these are pages from, if you haven't watched it and you're wondering about gessos, I have a 2-part video where I test out the most popular gessos and just kind of give them a run through of kind of things like inks and stamps, how they react to them, are they really, do they keep it from bleeding through, and all that kind of fun stuff. And so that was a good one. A lot of people have used that. It looks like just more play. Oh, wait, what's this one? Oh, more play. I love this one. I know I've said that a lot, but I do. They're like all my babies. So this was one I did with a printable from his palette and my Faith Impressions line. Again, it's kind of out of my wheelhouse color scheme-wise, and I think that's one reason I really like it, because it's just about challenging yourself to do things kind of different. And so, yeah. I really love the look of alcohol inks with metallics. This one was just good old messy fun. And I can tell definitely, just talking about the difference in my style, I definitely used to be a don't cover the words girl, and for the most part I still am, but I am noticing that I am kind of maneuvering and maybe doing a little bit more and being a little less scared to do that. These pages could not be more different. This one was from Projects to Prints about, or Projects to Page, I think is what I called it, about how you can make your own plushie. Not sure what that was. Some weird attempt at a rainbow, but it kind of works. We got more than one rainbow in here. This was also from that video on how to carve your own stamps. These are some printables I have on my Etsy shop. Kind of liking those. I think this was another just test, because I don't think there's anything on the other page. Oh no, there's one. I did this one in my car too. There's some ink pads and a stamp, in my Faith Impressions kit, and kind of drew the little crown. This one's using the 4-pointed star This was actually this actually is a 12-minute Bible journaling. I don't know why that's there. I think that is the last. Yeah, that was the. Oh nope, just kidding. Oh nope. Looks like play and then whatever was happening over here. I think this is from 7 to 19. This is one of my first attempts at kind of doing that really loose flower kind of thing, and I think it turned out pretty cute. I like it. Right. Now this one definitely doesn't have as much because I haven't had it as long. Let me scoot the camera back just a small, since this one's a little bit bigger. So this is my Interleaved Bible, which, just in case you're not familiar with that, just means there's a complete blank piece of paper or page on opposite each of them. This one doesn't have as much because I don't use it as much, but we'll go through it and see what all's in here. So this is actually one of my most recent. What is hilarious is this was actually supposed to be a video, and I got about a third of the way done and realized I had never hit play. Camera was set up, computer was set up right, but I never hit the button. So it became just an Instagram post, but it is one of my favorites. I say it's my favorite a lot. I'm sorry about that, y'all. It's done with Distress Oxides and some stamps and stuff, but it's a phrase, a sentence, a quote, I guess, from Holly Furtick from back earlier this month. It says, "When God gives you an assignment, it's big enough for you to question it and small enough for you to take the first step." And I really kind of loved that juxtaposition of it's going to be big for you to go, is that you, God, so that you have to lean into Him, but it's going to be small enough that you're still going to be able to take that first step. And I really, really liked it. So actually, I listened to it and then I was like, I've got to journal that now. Have you ever done that? If there's either a quote or a scripture you heard that you just had to jump on and journal right away, put it down in the comments and let us know what it is. So this was kind of just some playtime. I kind of went through a little cassette kick. This was fun because it's a gel press background, and then I stamped these really cool cassette tapes from Picket Fence Studios to kind of create my background and reinforce my kind of theme here. Can I say it's one of my favorites? I'll stop saying it's one of my favorites. This one is also in a video that I have. It's using a stencil from my friend Kat Kerr for Stencil Girl Stencils. And I loved it because it really incorporated what the stencil did, because it says that you are enough, you are brave, you are worthy, you are courageous. And I wanted to focus on, this is in Proverbs 31. And I think a lot of people are intimidated by Proverbs 31 because it says that she's all these, that she does all these great things, that her husband is known. And Proverbs 31 just is this, supposedly this perfect woman. And so I really wanted to focus on not what she does, but who she is. And things like she is precious, she is worthy, she is trustworthy, she's good, she's hardworking, she's focused, and all these kind of things. So it was a way for me to kind of internalize what I am on the inside as opposed to what I do. And so that's kind of where that idea came from. It was originally just supposed to be like a one-sided, and then I kind of got, I had fun with Distress Oxides. This is a really old one. And again, I didn't date it. Dadgummit. I should have. Oh, what's this one? Oh, I forgot about this one already. So this is one from my Trying series. So I have a series on my YouTube channel that is all about where I watch someone else's video and paint along with them and just try their techniques. And I'm not a watercolor person, and so I thought it would be kind of fun to try Sandy Allnock's candle watercolor. And I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, you can tell it's a candle, right? This is a new one. I love that one. Oh, here's a mess up. You guys want to see a mess up? I'm still not sure why it messed up. I was trying to do a transfer technique and it kind of went, but that's okay. Because then I painted this one on the other side and then I was happy. This one is a gel press background with some stencils on it and then some painted roses and stuff. Like I said, this one does not have quite as many entries in it. I think because I haven't had it as long. And these are my little koi fish that I drew. What else do I have in this one? Let's see. Oh, this was fun. So just that idea of releasing what is not going to be beneficial to me in 2021. And it's focused in Philippians chapter 3, verse 13, where it says, "Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it on my own, but one thing I do, forgetting that lies behind and straining towards what lies ahead." And Rex, I think, did this in a live. I can't remember now. But I really wanted to emphasize that idea of holding on to what God has for me and being okay with releasing what is not necessary in my life anymore for certain things. And so I kind of wanted the balloons to represent that. This is a really old one and I don't know how old, but it's kind of fun. Not sure. Yeah, that exists. I think that's actually the last one. Yep, that's the last one in that one. Hope you're not getting bored yet. Hopefully not. I think it's kind of fun. It's a walk down memory lane for me. So these will go pretty fast because I don't have as many entries in these big Bibles. So I got this one first. So I guess we should go through that one first. This is the Rose Gold Illustrated Bible. And so I actually did I did my Old Testament, and actually you might not be able to tell from just looking at it, but all of the books of the Old Testament are written around the light bulbs and through like kind of the lines and that kind of stuff. And I did write some. It says, "Your lessons and promises in the past will light the way to your future." And it looks like I did that on May 24th, 2019. And then that is just a little girl that I painted and drew and painted with the word begin. Let's see, do I have anything through here? Nope. This one's pretty. This one's done in kind of a patchwork kind of idea. I did it in a Facebook Live, and it was all about just layering patterns and colors on top of each other to get that kind of patchwork quilt kind of look. It turned out really, really good. I was really happy with that one. This was the first time I tried the, what do you call it? The napkin technique, I believe it's called, where you take like a pretty napkin and you gesso or I guess gesso it down. I thought this one was kind of pretty. It's not my usual style, but that's okay. There's nothing else right there. Let's see, what do we have in here? Nothing, 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 nothing. Okay. I'm not sure what happened that a big purple splop ended up right there, but metallic butterflies, I love those. This one, I love this one. This one's actually on my YouTube as well. It's using an argyle stamp stamped onto a gel press plate to kind of give it that rainbow effect. It turned out cool. What else do I have in here? Oh wait, is there one right? Oh, apparently I did little hearts, but then didn't do anything with it. Must have been testing out something. Okay, so you guys are going to see this one, I think 3 or 4 times because there's a hilarious story behind it. So I was doing it for part of my, I think, 12-minute Bible journaling thing on my channel. And literally it took me, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 times to get this, because I would literally start and I would be almost done or have the watercolors down, and then I would realize that I had forgotten to hit start. And I didn't do it once. I didn't do it twice. I'm pretty sure I did it 3 times. So you're going to see that exact same thing in a few different places in here, because I was just having a moment, and by the time the second or third time happened, I was bound and determined that I was going to get this done. I was so angry at that point. Just some pretty little kind of painted flowers. Still trying to figure out how to paint flowers, but that's okay. I think this is my newest Dollar Tree one, where I took a kid's book and cut it up and used it kind of to DIY my own die cuts to make a kind of a little story scene. My favorite song earlier this year, end of last year, was the song Rattle from Elevation. And so Keys of the Kingdom came out with this printable that had a bunch of skulls and that kind of stuff. And a couple people tagged me in it because they know that I like sugar skulls and that kind of thing. And so I really wanted this piece to kind of represent that juxtaposition of death and life, and how even things can be super dark like it is over here, but there is always a ray of hope in Christ. There's always hope that he's going to bring those dry bones back to life. And so that's kind of where that idea came from. I rarely use color pencils in my Bible, but this was kind of a just let's play kind of thing. And so I drew a little cacti scene. Here is another one of those. I honestly at this point don't even remember which one ended up being the video, since I did it so many times. Let's see. Oh, what else do I have? There's something right here. So I like this one because it's dealing with the idea that you may have peace. That's the scripture here in John chapter 16. And so I have this silhouette of a girl, and she's got peace, but there's all this stuff that's trying to get in and rob her of her peace. And so I wanted to kind of illustrate that idea that you may have peace, but in order to do that, you have to block out so much stuff sometimes in order to hold on to your peace. So this one was from Grace Camp in 2019. So if you're not familiar with Grace Camp, or you haven't been on my channel for very long, there's an organization that I've worked with for I don't even know how many years now, like 10 or 12 years, called Saving Grace. I'll put a link for them down in the description. But they are transitional housing for girls ages 18 to 25 who've done one of 3 things. They've either aged out of foster care with nowhere to go. They have either they're facing homelessness, or they have a home life that's just not conducive to a good future. And so it's just a place for them to come and heal and figure out life and be taught life skills and just be loved on. And that year our theme was come back. So I kind of drew these little kind of boxing gloves as kind of a way to remember that. This was a little girl that I drew. She will actually be in the, she might be in the Etsy shop already as a printable, I'm not sure. So I just wanted to, where are we? Oh, we're in Romans. I was like, where are we? Excuse me. Romans 11, where in verse 30 he says, since God's gracious gifts and calling are irrevocable. And I kind of wanted to document just this idea that your gifts are given with a purpose, and that word irrevocable I thought was just really an interesting and like not used a lot word, and so So this one says, fire will test the quality of one's work. And so I kind of went with just oranges and reds, and apparently I didn't gesso the page on this other one. Oh, he's my elephant. I forgot about my elephant. So it's just a simple little elephant done with some alcohol inks and gel press plates. And I kind of just wanted to keep it just whimsical, because it's in that section of 1 Corinthians where it talks about what love is. And I wanted to just keep it cute and just very innocent. I think that's the last. Oh no, there's a couple more in here. Oh, this was my finger painting one. Because sometimes you just want to finger paint. Because why not? Another one of my little girls. Just kind of keeping it simple and just light and watercolory. Oh, this was another test situation where I was testing. So supposedly these pages, which they are, I shouldn't say supposedly, the pages of the Illustrated Bible are thicker than a traditional journaling Bible, but I wanted to test to see how thick they were. And so I kind of just played around with a bunch of inks and pens and stamps, just to kind of get an idea of what you could get away with without having to gesso. Alright, a couple more, but these don't have a lot in them. Is there anything before that? Oh, yep, there's something before that. Oh, that was a test page. So, you know, there's that. This is actually one of, oh gosh, I said it again. Sorry, this is one of my favorites, only because it's on my page. It's from back in January, but it's not about this at all for me. This is attached to a talk that my best friend Dina did in front of her entire church for the first time. And so, A, I was just really proud of her, and B, it was just a really good word and a really good thought that I really wanted to get down. So you can check that out, and it actually has her like 8 or 12 minute talk before we go into this. I was just really proud of her, and I wanted to document her accomplishment and just what she spoke through that, that little time as well. Yeah, this one's my newer and doesn't have as much in it. One of my little girls. She's available as a printable, and just playing with some watercolors and keeping her light and kind of just very happy and tranquil. I don't know what's going on there. Oh look, here's that page again for the I don't know how many time. This might have been the one that ended up being the finished one. I don't even know. You guys have no idea how angry I was and how bound and determined I was to get that video done after flopping it so many times. So I did this one. Oh my gosh, I didn't date it. Oh, I think it's a video. I think. So muted rainbows kind of aren't my thing. But I wanted to document that idea, like it says up here, even if the colors aren't so bright, your promise still stands. Just that idea right here we're in Isaiah 41. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and I will help you. I will hold you up with my righteous right hand." And I kind of wanted to just document that idea that it's not all going to be sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops, but it doesn't change the fact that God's promises are still true. This is my cute little cactus. Kind of looks like a bunny, which I like. Let's see, I think that might be the last one in this one. We're almost on the, oh no, y'all, there's a fourth one. I really did have to redo it 4 times. That's hilarious. I hope you were laughing at this as much as I am. I mean, I wasn't laughing that day, but I was laughing pretty hard now. Just a cute little, I like the texture I was able to get. This was on a live with a gel press plate, and just the cool textures I was able to get with it. And this one, I drew this little girl when I was in church, kind of in my doodles. Just because this idea is connected to the shortest scripture in the Bible that says Jesus wept. And I kind of wrote in the journaling, too often we are trained to believe that tears are a sign of unbelief or lack of faith, but even Jesus wept. And so I kind of wanted to document that idea that it's okay to cry. And kind of just like a sweet, soft little girl. This one's a little manic. It's a little all over the place, but I like it for good. And it kind of ended up being almost an homage to Wicked the musical, because there's a song in it called For Good, and of course the colors of Wicked are green and black. So unintentionally, I showed my music theater side in that one. This one. I forgot about this one. So this is another one that's from my Trying series. This one was trying Scribbling Grace's Wildflower Fields in watercolors. Again, turned out pretty good. I could tell it's watercolors and that it's fields and that it's mountains. Alright, I think there's only a couple in this one. So this, in case you haven't seen these, this is the Proverbs and Psalms and the Luke Illustrated Bible. So same size as the other one. What's great about these is the fonts are ginormous compared to all the other ones. Not to go all elf. These are ginormous. There's not a ton in these because I haven't had these as long. I love this one. This one just speaks to my wild and crazy heart and just a little bit of everything on it. I think it's a video. I don't remember. Oh, apparently there's nothing. Oh. And then I did some little cupcakes. Because, cupcakes make everything better. Oh, wait, there's one more. Is there one more? Oh, no, that was a bless her heart, she tried situation. Oh, there's one more. I forgot about this one. This is my little Lift My Banner girl that I did back in September. Kind of trying to work on just doing some DIY elements, like the banner and this little banner, and kind of trying sometimes not to rely super heavy on materials in order to worship in my Bible journaling. Sometimes just keeping it really simple is okay too. I believe, if I remember right, there's only one entry in my Luke one. Am I right? Yes, that's this one. So in Luke chapter 5, verse 16, it says, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." And so this is a printable from, I think, his palette. And so I just loved the kind of rustic simplicity of that particular printable. And so I bought it and wanted to use it in this. I'm still kind of getting used to printables because I don't like seeing the hard edges, so figuring out what the best way to disguise them is kind of what I'm doing right now whenever I purchase printables. So those are my 7, that's 7, y'all stuck around for a long time, my 7 main journaling Bibles. And I just thought it would be fun to kind of take you guys down just a little memory lane with me and just maybe see some things that you hadn't seen before, either on my YouTube channel, or maybe you hadn't seen it when it was posted on Instagram, or maybe it was never posted. I don't know. I know it was a longer than normal video, but I hope you guys just enjoyed the time just kind of going down memory lane and just seeing that just because you like one style doesn't mean that every page has to be the exact same thing, that it's okay to try new styles, it's okay to fail at trying new styles, and that it's just all about spending time in the Word creatively and just doing what God has called you to do and just created to be creative people. Thanks so much for sticking with me this far, guys. Hope you click that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.